Hi everyone, welcome back to the 13th episode of the Parade Planners podcast. This is our first episode post trade deadline. We had big losing streak. We had a bounce back win last night, and we got Nick Foligno coming back to play finally. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. How about we talk about first? Let's talk about those two Vancouver games. The Leafs, as the Leafs do, lose to a team that hasn't played in 30 days. These guys have not touched the ice in 30 days, and of course the Leafs lose two games back to back against them. What do you guys think about that? It's like typical Leafs, man. If any team in the league is gonna lose that way, of course it's gonna be the Leafs.
Well, but we had a conversation too, because um, let's say the team was like even Keith said the team was doing well, but they didn't get no goaltending behind them, and that's what like cost them, especially in these 5 games. But they had a .839 save percentage heading into the Winnipeg game on yesterday, which was a good effort from. We'll get to that later, but good effort by Campbell. Yeah, I got him. Defensive lapses. They came. They were boxing up people, and essentially they got shitty goaltending from Campbell and Riddick, especially Riddick in the second game. Some horrible goals, and yeah, the team didn't produce at all either in front of him, because they could have ended the game the first period or second period in the first game, and they didn't. Hope he just stood on his head, and a lot of fans were upset that they lost because the team might have played in 22 days or something like that. But hats off to Hopi of just leading the charge, and with Bo Horvat just an emotional win. But I was listening to the Steve doing a podcast, and they were saying Adam All was saying that it could be emotionally good victory for another team, and the other team couldn't give a shit. Like it's another loss. It's like another Zamboni game, but it's another loss. So take it as you will that way. But yeah,
I think
All
every
right,
year the
yeah,
Leafs have
Tanika, you
to.
go first before I go all in on this. So you go first.
Yeah, I know you're gonna debate Jaskaran, so let me get in my 2 cents. But every year it feels like the Leafs have to go through an embarrassing streak or an embarrassing game. It's just mandatory, you know. Like my coworker messaged me on Saturday. He's like, like I think the Saturday, yeah, the Saturday of the Vancouver game or Winnipeg game, and he's like, if we lose to Vancouver here, like we're gonna be the laughing stock of the league again, right? And what happens? We end up losing both games against Vancouver. It's just it's just expected, you know. Um, but the thing is, like on the in the first game it was pretty close, 3-2 loss. The second game, I fully blame Riddich for that one. Um, like, I mean, like two of those goals are just like Pee Wee League shots, right? Like anyone could have stopped those shots. I think it was the fourth goal, and I forgot, but either way, like both of those shots should have been saved, and like we lost by basically a 2 goal deficit plus the empty net goal. Um, yeah, goaltending has been our biggest issue in that losing streak. But based on the last game that we had, Campbell played good, so hopefully our goaltending is back to normal. But yeah, and plus Keefe was experimenting with different lines, different pairs. I think during that game, Riley and Riley and Hall were pairing, and Muzzin and Brody. So I don't think the Leafs really care that much about these two losses. It's just we just can't let it be a bigger losing streak.
Okay, here's my whole thing. Okay, Leafs Nation shuts down, panics, gets so toxic. You see Steve Dangle going off, like being super toxic, being so pissed about these losses. One, who gives a shit? It's Vancouver. Like they're not going to be in the playoffs. We don't have to worry about them. Leafs. It doesn't matter if the Leafs are competitive against Vancouver. It matters if the Leafs are competitive against the Jets, the Oilers, and the Habs. That's what matters right now. And goaltending. Okay, my issue here was media, Leafs Twitter, Leafs fans all around all started panicking because of a 5 or 6 game losing streak where we didn't get goaltending, right? But do you see other franchises doing this? Okay, let's just look at Winnipeg, for example. Last 2 games, okay? Game before the Leafs beat them, Connor Hellebuck, 880 save percentage, 3-0 shutout against the Oilers, a team they're playing in the playoffs. Eventually, most likely, it's going to be Jets and Oilers first round. Then they lose 5-3 against the Jets. And guess what? What was Connor Hellebuck's save percentage? 500, 3 goals on 6 shots. As a Jets fan, I'm not even as a Jets fan, as a Leafs fan, do you look at the Jets and be like, oh my god, man, these Jets should be panicking. They're goaltending. They're not going to have goaltending for the playoffs. No, you don't give a shit. It's Connor Hellebuck. He's a good goalie. You know he can't be lights out every single night. He's going to slip once in a while. What matters is if he shows up in the playoffs, right? So I don't get why every single Leafs fan was, okay, not every single, but majority of Leafs fans was like, oh my god, the goaltending is ruining this team. They're going to screw us over, this and that. When they don't look in front of the net, okay? All I was trying to say was, it's not just the goalies that are costing them these games. If you compare the Leafs team in the beginning of the season to the Leafs team in the last 5 or 6 games, yeah, the goaltending hasn't been as good as it was then. But what about when Frederik Andersen was playing like shit? The team still won. The team still performed in front of Frederik Andersen to steal games and win games for Freddie. It shouldn't just be the goalie stealing games for Freddie. I mean, it shouldn't just be the goalie stealing games for the team. The team should also steal games for the goalie when the goalie plays like shit, right? Let's look at that Winnipeg game last night. Like, just Karan, remember you were saying your whole point was, Riddick let in those like 3 goals that completely ruined the Leafs' momentum and they couldn't get back into it, right? But last night, Hellebuck let in 3 goals, 3 easy goals. I would say the 3 goals Hellebuck costed would ruin their momentum a lot more than the 3 goals Riddick costed on the Canucks. Because like it was literally 3 goals on 6 shots to start the game, right? Theoretically, that should ruin their momentum. But no, the Jets fought that game. Like if you look at those game score things, it said the Jets were projected to win based on expected goals, right? But that's the thing. It doesn't matter because the Jets showed up. They made sure that even if their goalie didn't like perform the way he could, they fought till the end. Like to be honest, the Jets could have won that game last night. Like if the Leafs didn't shut them down in the third period, they could have won. So my whole point was those games where we lost 5 or 6 games, your goalies can play like shit, but if you're letting guys walk in front of your net open, Tanner Pearson was literally skated beside Justin Hall, grabbed a rebound and scored on Riddick. Like, what is Riddick supposed to do there? And like, if you as a goalie you get scored on because your defenseman's not helping you, it completely takes you out of the zone. Of course, you're gonna start letting in easy goals because like, as a player, you need the momentum, right? You need confidence in yourself, and when goals start going in, like of course you're gonna let in a couple easy ones if you know your defense is not even helping you. So my whole point was not that goaltending was not a problem. It's that you can't only blame the goaltending. Your team, like the Leafs, should not be giving up a 5 or 6 game losing streak because they should be helping their goalie. They should be stealing games for Campbell or Riddick when they're not having the best night. Like you think like Tuukka Rask, Andrei Vasilevsky are lights out every single night? No. Tampa Bay wins for Vasilevsky on nights that he's not good. That's what good teams do. And in the playoffs, like your goalie is gonna have an off night here and there. Like unless you're like Dominic Hasek, like you're gonna have one night where the goalie didn't perform in game 3 or 4. Are you just gonna give up and be like, oh shit, the goalie cost us the game? No, like you still as a player need to try your hardest, and that's why I'm happy Nick Foligno's here and all these veterans are here because they're gonna tell these guys like last night was a great example. Like in the beginning, they let in some soft goals. The goal who was the first goal? I forgot who the first goal was, but it was an easy goal. Like it was the defenseman's fault. But those veterans are gonna be like, yo, like we can't let these guys in front of our net. And what happened? Simmons beat the shit out of Dubois when he tried to get in front of our net open. And that's what I want to see going forward. I want to see the guys playing to make the goalie's job easier, not the goalie playing to make the forwards' jobs easier. The goalie playing to make the defenseman jobs easier. It should be the opposite way.
Yeah, I no, I agree with you there. But the thing is, Leaf Nation has anxiety with goaltenders. Like, this is focus on this topic. They have anxiety with goaltenders, cause we look back at 2018. Freddie allowed some bad goals in Game 7. That the Brust goal he should have had. I think the Nordstrom goal he should have had. They have a history of allowing bad goals. 2019, he allowed Marcus Johansson to walk in and score on him. That should have been stopped. I know which one it was. I think it was Nordstrom back in 2018, 2019. It's one of those bad goals. And then Liam Fody in his first career goal in the playoffs, he had a stinker. I don't care if the defense is out there. I don't care if anyone's there. You should got stopped. It's a bad angle shot. So if you look back at the history of the least goalies over the past 5 6 years, they have anxiety. So the anxiety is there, and like they're afraid of getting shitty goaltending in the playoffs. Like not like they always have, but some nights they have and you're right. The offense got picked, the defense got picked it up, and the offense got picked it up for them too. But sometimes in a 5 game span, if you get in the playoffs, you're done. That's it. You're done. Like you can have a .839 save percentage in the playoffs. I don't care how much like a goalie's job is to make a save. Like it didn't make a save. So like if you're saying that, like yeah, like you're right. Like the defense got to play better, but sometimes the goalie just has to make a save. Like where like the fourth goal, the second goal, and the whatever the fourth goal, the fourth goal and the fifth goal, he should have had like the those are like shots that were getting through you, especially the fifth goal. Like what was that? Like it was going wide and it hit off inside his pad and went in like a bad angle shot. Like he should have that. Like it's anxiety with Leafs Nation. That's what it is. It's the fact that we haven't like got competent goaltending in the playoffs, or we have, but not in critical times, like in Game 6, in Game 7, 2019. They just blew it, and they were playing the best series they played in a while, and they didn't get a win because the defense collapsed, and so did the thing, and that's where the Verdens come in. Like that's where Flino comes, that's where Thorne comes, that's where Bogosian hopefully comes if he comes back in the midway of the first round, and that's where Simmons comes in and all these guys comes in. Brody, Muslin, who's won a championship. That's where all these guys come in and they offer the young guys advice like Matthews, Marner, Nylander. Tavares has been past the first round. He knows what it's like to go midway to the playoffs. And it's the fact that yeah, it's anxiety. That's what it is. But the goaltending, that's all I gotta say. It's anxiety.
Okay,
But to
before I
like
say
argue
more,
against
I
your
was gonna
point
say,
there, like
Danigan, you let me hear your thoughts on
yeah,
this whole like losing streak, the goalies, how the team's been playing first.
okay. So like I think I'm in the middle of both you guys. Like when Jaskran says goalie anxiety, like Leaf fans have anxiety about goalies. I agree. Like as a Leaf fan, I agree. But we've also had anxiety about our defense, right? Like our defense has been trashed for so long, right? And every year it seems like we're like pissed off about our defense. And then finally this year, it feels like we haven't talked much about our defense because the new the new like shiny object is our goaltending, right? Like the new story is Frederick Anderson's garbage now. Now we have to look for goaltenders, right? Jack Campbell and Rittich. And based on their play, like even if they make the slightest errors, they'll be put on the spotlight, right? It was the same thing for defense a couple of years, like with Jake Gardner, Riley, right? As soon as they made like one mistake or whatever, everyone would like pull out like highlight reels of that play. And now we're seeing it with goaltending. Like I get pissed off about goaltending. Like if you look at that Rittich performance on what was it on Saturday or something, or whenever that performance was, like that was brutal. But like the other games that we had in that losing streak, it wasn't like entirely the goalie's fault, right? For example, like the 3-2 loss against Vancouver, that wasn't like Campbell's fault. That was Toronto offense, right? Like we have to be able to put up more than 2 goals in a game. So, Balaj, let me hear your thoughts.
See, like, okay, like even like okay in playoffs, like our problem last year in the playoffs. Let's just look at the Columbus series. Was not goaltending. It wasn't goaltending at all. Like to be honest, like Columbus didn't really score crazy amounts on us. It was the offense that didn't score. right? So like maybe like in like the past game sevens and stuff, like Freddie didn't play amazing, and that's fine, right? I do agree with you guys saying there is goaltending anxiety, and even like I'm not trying to say it's all the defense's fault, but you can't just put an entire game just on the goalies. Like that Riddick game was pretty bad, but Leafs fans literally turned on Campbell. Like this is what I hate. Like Leafs fans are so bipolar, man. Like I mean, I get pretty pissed about the Leafs too a lot, but Campbell goes wins 11 straight for the franchise, and then he drops three. He has a 3-game skid. Shit happens, man. You're a goalie. You're gonna have like Vezina winner Connor Hellebuck just had a 2-game skid where he let a 3-0 shutout against the Oilers and he got pulled against the Leafs. Jets fans are not going to go panicking saying, "Oh shit, we need to get a new goalie. Connor Hellebuck is not our goalie." Like you got to have a little bit of faith in your goalies, especially when it's a goalie like Campbell who just had an 11-game winning streak to set the NHL record. But no, Leafs fans have to turn around and panic saying, "Shit, we're screwed with goalies. We're screwed with goalies." Like there is goaltender anxiety, but at the same time, you got to look at the bigger picture sometimes, right? Like in those games that we lost, the Leafs did not perform top to bottom. It was not just a goaltending issue. Yeah, that game against the Canucks with Riddick, he let in some softies, but not every single goal he let in was his fault. Like if the Leafs stopped some of those goals with their defensemen not letting Tanner Pearson stand in front of the net chilling for an open rebound, maybe Riddick might have carried that momentum forward and played better. Maybe that could have changed the game. Like
And
I
let me
think
add this.
just
Let me add this.
yeah, go for it.
In
Go
that
for it.
Riddick game, like the Leafs in the first period had 18 shots for, second, or this is even strength. 18 shots for first period, 25 in the second, and then in the third period they only had 8. So like while Riddich was to blame, we only had 8 shots at even strength in the third period when we're losing. Like how bad is that,
Like I feel like
right?
that Riddick game is really comparable to like last night's game, right? Like we lost to the Canucks because of quote unquote bad goaltending, and the expected goals were supposed to be in our favor. We were supposed to quote unquote win, right? But then last night it's a similar thing where the Jets lost because of goaltending and they were supposed to quote unquote win. But like you guys watched the game. Then again, I think you said you missed most of the game, right? But
Yeah, I
Jaskaran,
missed
you watched the
yesterday's.
game. Would you say the Jets were competitive that game? Would you say they were still in it despite the bad goaltending?
Yeah, they were, to be honest.
Yeah, but were the Leafs still in it despite the bad goaltending in that Riddick game compared to the game
Okay,
against
no, no, no,
Vancouver?
no, no, no.
Or compared
Okay,
to the
listen,
Jets?
listen.
Well, Leo, answer
Okay,
my question first before you change the
it
topic.
didn't look like it. Didn't look like it.
No,
Didn't look like
my point. Yo, Jaskaran, isn't that oh we should just take the blame away from the goaltending? That's not my point at all, bro. The goaltending has been shit the last 6 games, right? But that doesn't mean you just focus in on the goaltending. You got to focus in on your forwards, and like that's one thing I loved about last game is these guys they started off a little weak, but we'll talk a little bit more about this later, obviously. But the grit, man, like the dirtiness, like Wayne Simmons beating the shit out of Dubois, like the more hits, the more aggressiveness is what I loved in the beginning of the season. You guys remember in the beginning games, like in the first like 20 games of the season, we were all like, "Yo, this Leafs team is so different. They stand up for their goalie. They beat up anyone who comes near the crease. They're throwing hits everywhere." And we loved it because the team is sticking up for themselves. The last 5 or 6 games, they didn't do that at all, man.
Okay, back to the Riddick game. You guys go back to that game. So listen, the second goal, Quinn Hughes goal, that was the first goal. I remember first second goal, the Quinn Hughes goal. He should have had that. Point blank, should have had that. That's a weak shot. That's low danger chance. He should have had that. Then there's Hoglander goal. That's the game tying goal. That's a four. I'm not taking blame away from the defense as a goalie. That's a goal he should have had. The
But yo,
Pearson,
all three goals.
let me go. Okay, the Pearson goal. He should have had that big time too. I understand 2 goals, but if you like, I remember he's fighting the puck in the first and second period. The third period, it just got away from him. I remember like he couldn't find the rebounds. He couldn't find the rebounds. Like that's what it was. Like he was struggling the whole night, and it showed at the end of at the end result. The empty netter. It shouldn't have like the empty net shouldn't happen. It should be 3-2 at that point. No, for the Leafs. If those shitty goals don't go in, it's a 3-3, or maybe it's a 3-2 game. Like who knows? Like if the shitty goals don't go in, the Leafs gain confidence, and they get a save once in a while, and they're cruising. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Like those shitty goals have an effect on the players as well. Because we can't get goaltending. It's the same thing. I can't get defense. It's the same thing. I can't get goaltending. It's the same thing, right? Yeah, that's my point. Like the where they I'm going back to where the game especially because that's where we had the whole conversation of where are we going from here, right? That's what it was. Like that's my point. Like it's a 3-2 game at the end of it because three shitty goals are done and that's the game, right? You're not getting goaltending. Like even Keith said in the press conference, our group played good and they didn't get any goaltending behind them. That's what it was, and the puck kept on going in the net. And I believe him. Like he knows what he's talking about. So yeah.
Bro, but why is Paul Maurice not saying the Jets played a good game, we just didn't get goaltending?
Listen. No, Paul Maurice had the best goaltender. He has the best
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, bro. No, but like, hey, listen. Yo, you're cutting me off now. You want to finish? Let me finish now. Okay? You're saying Riddick let in 3 easy goals and the Leafs just gave up. They couldn't get in because they tried their best. They couldn't get back in. Bro, in my opinion, Hellebuck letting 3 goals on 6 shots is a lot worse than Riddick letting in those 3 goals. Because Riddick let those 3 goals in over the span of a long period. Literally, like if let's say if the Leafs last night, it was flipped. We let in 2 quick goals from the Jets. Okay? And then we let in a point shot from a 41-year-old. You think the story would be different than what the Jets story is? The Jets are not panicking, bro. The Jets didn't say, "Oh shit, bro, we had bad goaltending. Oh well, life sucks. I guess it's a loss then." No, they battled hard as fuck in that game, bro. In that third period, I was so scared the Jets were gonna come back and win because they did not give up despite getting shitty goaltending. Like that's my whole point is you can't just get shitty goaltending and just give up in the game. Like that's what the Leafs did again when that Riddick game. Like they didn't look like they had energy despite those bad goals. Like yeah, those bad goals suck, but they didn't play to support those bad goals. They didn't they had 3 goals bad, like 3 bad goals on them, and then what? They just sat there, bro. They didn't play. They didn't try their best to come back. They weren't battling to the last minute the way the Jets did. That's my whole point is you're going to get bad goaltending, man. Every single team, like 2 games in a row, the Jets are fighting for the number 1 spot and they lose to the Oilers and they lose to the Leafs. That would be pretty fucking depressing if I was a Leafs fan. I would rather lose 2 games to Vancouver than 2 games to Edmonton and the Jets, right? And despite that, the Jets are not panicking, man. The Jets are still in it. They're still trying their hardest. And you're going to get a bad game. That's my whole point. You're going to get a bad game from goaltending. A Vezina goalie had 2 bad games in a row, and they were still in it.
All right, let me put this out there. Like, so I didn't watch yesterday's game with Hellebuck, but I'm assuming, like, when you play a game, like, you know who's playing behind you. So when Winnipeg plays, they know they have a Vezina level goalie in their net, right? They're expecting like a solid performance for sure. But with the Leafs, like you have an unstable goaltending situation, right? Like Campbell's amazing, Rittich is big save Dave, right? They're all good, but like at times they've been shaky, and like when you're trying to build momentum, as Jasker was saying, it's kind of tough when like in the back of your head you're like, oh, like we have to score, like the pressure's on, right? Like we have to score because they might score another goal on us again, right? While as Winnipeg, like you can say, oh, we have to score, but like Hellebuck still has our back, right? I don't know if that confidence is there
Hellebuck got
right?
pulled, bro. That's my whole thing last night. Hellebuck got pulled.
Oh shit, never mind.
Bro, he let in 3 goals. No, that's my whole point is he let in 3 goals on 6 shots. Your Vezina goalie gets pulled, and you still compete. That's my whole point, bro. The Leafs don't compete when they get shitty goals. The Leafs get shitty goals scored on them, and they don't compete after. They just give up. They deflate.
Alright, but hold on. What about the games where in Campbell's 11-game win streak, right? There were games that he wasn't playing as good as he was at the start of the 11-game streak. Right? I remember like at the end of the 11-game streak, like I think he had a 5-goal, like he let in 5 goals in one game, and the Leafs still won. Like in those games, like Leafs pulled through. But I'm guessing like there's gonna be games where like both the goalies don't pull through and the forwards don't pull through, right?
Yeah, that's gonna happen for sure. But in those games, you have to realize it's not just the goalie's fault, right?
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
games where there's a couple games in that stretch where Campbell came clutch, man. Like even like I remember some of those overtime games. Campbell was lights out in overtime and during his win streak.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
he stole some games for the Leafs, right? And the Leafs stole some games from Campbell. And in this losing streaks, they didn't steal games for each other. And that's my whole point is
100%.
you can't just be like, oh shit, bro, the goaltending sucks, bro. Like, it's not just them, bro. You have to look at the whole team and be like, okay, the goaltending was shit. Yeah, Riddick played like ass, but did he get any support at all? No, he didn't get any support. So, like, how is he
Mhm.
supposed to? He's a new goalie coming into Toronto. Like, the boys should be playing to make his job easy, right? You look at Columbus series last year. Like, I don't know. You guys watched like the Nick Foligno interviews and stuff about the playoffs last year. Like, he was talking about it. He's like, yeah, like in the like against the Leafs, like they're a really skilled team. So we just wanted to make sure we worked to get good goaltending. What does that mean? They worked to get good goaltending. They tried to make the job easy on Merzlikins and what's the other guy's name? I'm blanking on his name.
Korpisalo.
Yeah. Tell me, didn't they make Korpisalo and Merzlikins' job a lot easier than it should have been? Yeah, because they played
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they kept
tough for
everything
him.
to the outside.
right? But the Leafs haven't been doing that in this losing streak. They did that earlier in the season, and that's just what I want to see. I just want to see them despite bad goaltending. If they lose that Riddick game, but they competed hard, then we would not be having this conversation, to be honest. Like, I feel like that first Vancouver game, it sucked. It was 3-2, but they still fought that game, and I was happy. It's just that game, I didn't see an effort from both sides.
Yeah, that is true. But don't you think it's kind of deflating? I know you're new goaltender and stuff. The boys should play for you, but the thing is, isn't that deflating goal? Like you've tried your hard. You got the lead, and like the Leafs are building momentum. Like you see that they're going back the other way. They're building momentum, and a weak one, a simple slap shot. It's not a Steve Yzerman slap shot. It's a Nils Hoglander slap shot. It's not perfect. It just goes right to you.
Buddy, Joel Thornton scored
Yeah.
from the point.
Yeah, but that was deflected in front of the net. It was deflected,
Doesn't
and
matter, bro.
He was screened. Special was like freaking 2 feet in front of a person.
It doesn't
No one near
matter.
him. It does
That
matter.
that didn't deflate the Jets, bro. At
Yeah, but
all.
the thing
Wayne
is-
Simmons
No,
scored a
listen, it's
backhander
third-
after
it's a-
30
it's a-
games.
No, it's the third period, guy. It's not the first period. Third period. It's
The
the
Leafs
third
were not
period.
in it before that either. To be honest, like the
Yeah,
Leafs let
they
in
were
easy-
leading, guy. They were
Well,
leading.
I don't care if they were leading. They let in
Yeah,
simple
but-
ass goals before that. Like,
The Quinn
okay,
Hughes goal was Riddick's fault too, guy. It's not even,
okay, so
like,
what about the
that was
Pearson goal,
that?
bro? Pearson's
The
literally
Pierce-
sitting,
okay,
chilling,
that was
bro.
one
This guy
goal.
could have set
That
up a
was one
picnic.
goal.
He could have put a picnic in front of the goalie.
Oh my
He could have had
God.
lunch
That
sitting
was-
there. Hall's literally staring into fucking space. Like, how are you not getting mad at Hall, but you're getting mad at Riddick? That's what I don't understand about you just now.
I'm not.
Is-
Okay,
no,
okay.
but the night after the game, you did not want to even talk about the defense. You just were straight looking at the goaltending. That's my whole
Yeah, but
point,
because
bro.
it was the goaltending, guy.
But
Like,
how was it not
that-
the
that
defense,
was the-
too?
okay,
So,
that
okay,
was the-
before
that
that
was the-
Riddick goal,
that was-
Before that Riddick goal, before that easy ass goal in the third period, 2 goals before that could have been prevented by easy defense stops.
No, man. Okay, the Quinn Hughes goal could not be prevented by EDG. That
Not
was a low
that goal, bro.
percentage.
There was the
that-
other 2 goals that were scored right in front of
Okay,
Riddick.
no, that,
Literally right
the,
in front
the,
of
the
him.
fourth,
A
okay,
guy's
the fourth,
open.
okay, the fourth goal was stupid, planning on Brody, and that was stupid. The fourth goal was stupid, but
Yeah, so the 4th goal and the Pearson goal. So there's 2 goals. So
There's
right
2 goals.
away,
the
you
two
can
goals
minus 2 goals
but
before
three-
Riddick lets in an easy one. Like, I'm not,
No,
bro, you're
no,
not understanding
no.
me. You're trying to think that I'm not putting the blame on Riddick. Riddick played like shit, bro. He played like shit. But it's not all his fault. If those 2 goals, the defense stepped up, they could have won that game, even if, despite
See, look.
Riddick playing like shit.
See, look, no. I'm gonna go back to 2019, okay? I'm gonna go back to 2019.
Oh my god,
Let's-
bro.
No,
My point
no,
is
this
the last 5
I
games,
know.
they did not play
Yeah,
good
they-
defense
Devin-
on top of good
okay.
goaltending. That's all my point is. But you want to think it's only goaltending that caused us to
It's
lose
not.
these games.
It's not okay, man. Okay. I don't know. I get your point too. The defense, the defense has been asked over the last couple of games. I
Bro,
understand
there's
that.
been no hitting.
But, I know,
Nobody's
they-
hitting.
they-
Nobody's
they
sticking up
bought-
for each other.
they should-
Nobody's
but last-
pushing
last
guys
night
out
they
of the
did.
crease.
Last night they did. Last night
They did. And guess what? They won.
They won. Yeah.
They won the game by playing good defense.
Yeah.
Goaltending was not great last night.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
they-
say it was great.
They pick good defense. Good
Goaltending last night
defense.
was what? Maybe average? Like, it wasn't
Yeah,
the
that
best.
yeah,
And they won.
Yeah, and that's what we need. Average goaltending and .839 is a low is a below average goaltending. Am I wrong or right?
Okay, but then again, we go back to Hellebuck. Hellebuck had a shit goaltending appearance in 2 straight games against playoff teams.
That's 2 straight games, but this is 5 straight games for Leafs. It's not
Yeah,
2,
but
it's
did-
5, guys. There's 3 more games.
Bro, but like,
So
you're not
on
understanding
a team with Simmons, Thornton, Muzzin, all these guys, like the leadership team, right? Do you put the blame on them then?
That's what I would put the blame on. bro.
I
No.
don't put the blame on
How do you
no,
not put
no,
the blame on them, just Garn? If you, like, okay, as
It's
a
not
leader in the
leadership
team,
group,
as a
guys.
leader, you're seeing nobody sticking up for your goalie. You're seeing nobody clearing the net in front of them. How are you not going to your boys and being like, I guarantee you, Nick Foligno went in that room and he watched those games. He in his interview, he's like, I've been watching those games. Nick Foligno
Yeah.
beat the Leafs. He beat the
If
Leafs.
there's
yeah,
one
he
thing,
did,
He
yeah.
beat
if there's
Nick
one
Foligno
thing
beat the Leafs.
I've
Nick
learned-
Foligno
yeah.
beat the Lightning.
Yeah.
Bro, if there's one thing I've learned from watching Columbus play, maybe it's Torola or maybe it's like the group of guys, like they put in a consistent effort every night.
I
The
agree.
Leafs
Yeah,
don't
No
do
matter
that,
if they're
bro.
getting shat on or
They do.
In those 5 or 6
Right.
games, there was no consistent effort from goaltending, from defense, or from offense. It was one game the offense would play great, one game the defense will play great, but they didn't play great together. Columbus, no matter they're losing, they're all fucking trying their asses off. And I guarantee you, Nick Foligno went in that room and he's like, "Yo, I saw those games you guys lost. You guys did not help your goalies."
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, and you mentioned this at the starting too of the podcast. You're like how at the start of the season, the team that we saw was like very, very like they supported each other. The offense was clicking, defense was clicking, right? And that team looked like it had it all.
Yeah.
ready to go for the cup, right?
Yeah, and that's my whole point, bro. Just going.
guys-
My whole
no,
point
that's
is
what we
the
need.
last 5 or 6 games, goalie's been shit, but they didn't play for the goalie at all. That's what I'm upset about, bro.
Yeah, now I get where you're coming from. Cause past 2 seasons, right? I'm gonna tell you the past 2 seasons, 2018-19, like they set records, but going into the playoffs they were slumping, and it was like a wet leaking fucking shit going on in your pants, and they were sorry for the bad image there, but
That's a little explicit.
yeah, but
Buddy, I'm
but
about to
that's-
eat dinner after
that-
this, man.
No, that's what it was. They were struggling. Defense was struggling. Offense was struggling. Goaltending was struggling, and it led into the playoffs. Like they weren't playing playoff hockey going into the playoffs. They were playing shitty hockey, and that's where you're right. Like you gotta step on the gas and go. Like
Yeah, I
You
don't give a
can't-
shit if you got bad goaltending.
Yeah.
You gotta play, bro. I don't care if you have bad goaltending. You need to play.
No, I get what you're coming.
That's my whole. Thank you, Jiskar. Thank you for finally understanding.
Yeah. Now I get now I get where you're coming from, but I don't like. Do you guys think you're trying to panic or what? Like
No, bro.
all-
Like, last
all-
night
all-
was
all-
great.
all-
Last night was great.
Like
we
I
got
don't,
9 games.
like
Here's where I panic. Okay, we got 9 games left. I mentioned this in the group chat. We have 9 games. I think there's 4 against Montreal and 2 against the Jets. Okay.
yeah.
Those other 3 games, I think it's like 2 against Vancouver, 1 against Ottawa. Bro, we could lose
Yeah.
those 3 games. I honestly don't give a shit. If we lose those 3 games, I'm not panicking. I'm panicking if out of those 6 games, we lose 3 or more. That's where
Yeah.
I panic, because all of a sudden, you have the Jets and Montreal. Montreal, most likely you're playing in the first round. Jets are probably the second best team in our division. If you lose 3, 4, 5, or even 6 of those games, you're fucked. You're fucked in the playoffs. You're fucked. That's where I'm like, this team can't do it. If they can win 4 of those 6 games, I have all the confidence in the world that this team can make it to the second round at least. What about you guys?
Yeah, no, I
See-
agree with you. I agree with you there. Like it's you've got to play a playoff hockey in the regular season. You play those tight checking games and go into playoffs ready to fight, ready to compete. Like you can't be like all loosey goosey and like yeah, you can't be all loosey goosey. You have to tighten up. Like you can't be going back and forth. Like you see guys like you see Tampa back in like 2019 where they won the President's Trophy and set the record. They weren't playing playoff hockey. They're playing.
No, they
mainly
played
with
that
us.
loosey goosey fucking shit against Columbus, and guess what? Nick
Yeah, they
Foligno
got
came
fucked.
in and kicked their ass, bro.
They got
Nick
fucked.
Foligno
Yeah,
fucked up.
cause the thing is Columbus played playoff hockey since like March or something, and they played playoff hockey and Tampa didn't. Tampa was cruising into the playoffs, and they didn't. And
This is
that's
why I
what
love
fucking.
Nick. This is why I love the Nick Foligno acquisition.
That's
Man.
why
I think he's
that's
gonna
why
be
Columbus.
such a big impact on this team.
That's
I
why
was just about
that.
to say that.
That's why
Like
Columbus
Taylor,
fucking kicked their ass in the playoffs, right? Because they weren't checking. Kucherov got suspended. Hadman was injured, and they just took it around like fuck these guys. Who do you think they are? Right? You see that meme? Who do you think you are? I am. That's what they did. That's what they did to Tampa. Like who do you think you are? The fuck we are. Like we're Columbus. We're gonna beat you
Discard,
guys
bro. There's
ass.
kids listening, man.
Who cares, man? Kids, cover your ears, man. Cover your ears. Please stop. I'm so sorry, cause like that's what it is, right? Like play playoff hockey and the regular season, play those tight checking games, like cover up defensively, like have good practices, and you'll be good to go in the playoff. Like just play playoff hockey now, like tight checking games. Don't let guys get into a slot, check them out, cross check them, and go fuck what you do. Like cover the slot, get those guys out of the area, and you'll be fine.
guaranteed Kyle
Hopefully.
Dubas knows this too, and that's why, like, he could have easily gotten Taylor Hall, right? Taylor Hall went for peanuts, right? Instead, they went after Nick Foligno, and that's the type of guy they need to put in like consistent effort every single night. And Taylor Hall wouldn't have addressed that, right? He would be in the passenger on that, like on that consistency, effort, right? Effort or whatever.
But Taylor Hall's known for not being like giving consistent effort. So you're 100%
Yeah,
right,
like-
Finnegan.
Yeah, 100% right.
he
there.
rides away.
And teams like Washington, who is a cup contender, Colorado is a cup contender, Vegas who's a cup contender, they were going to Foligno instead of Hall. Why? Because leadership, right? That's what it comes down to, leadership and grit and toughness. And you see the impact Foligno had last night. Look at him. He went after the ball like it's a former teammate. You guys should be joking about who gives a shit. They're enemy now. Like
Bro, like my whole thing about Foligno is like he didn't play for 10 straight games or 10 straight days. He hasn't touched the ice. And what did he do? He came out and he gave 110% that game. Then again, remember you were asking how he was? Bro, this guy gave it his all that game, and it's his first game with a new team, bro. He barely knows the guys in the room. I think he played with Matthews in the 2016 World Champion. He knows a couple of the other guys, but like he came in and he played his heart out, bro. Like that's what I love to see.
I saw a clip at the end of like him on the bench and like him talking to Marner, and like it just looked like so natural, you know?
Yeah,
Excited to
the
see
thing is, yeah, but the thing is, he came in, I think before the beginning of the game, before morning scale, what do you call it, and he gave a speech, and like Shandine, Brooks, and like all them had the interviews today, and like it motivated them, like get up, go kick their ass, and fight for one another, and that's what it was. He's like, in the speech, he's like, I'm here to play the game, I'm here for passion, and I see you guys want to be that too, and that influences the group a lot. Like I don't think I've ever seen that kind of leadership at all. Like over the past 3-4 years that the Leafs have been contending, and that's where it comes in. That's where Bruno comes in and does his thing, right? Motivates the group, just kept to get them going. And those hits he laid last night against Morrissey and Dubois, and Dubois is taking stupid penalties here and there. Like that was stupid penalty on Hall, but whatever. That's on them. But yeah, he came in, motivated the group, and just kept on going and going and going. And he chucked, he leaned on big hits. Like
Dude,
I
you
never,
could tell there was
Yeah.
a big difference in effort last night. Like last night was exactly what I wanted to see from the team. They played amazing. They all played hard. There's a little bit of weakness still, like especially that first and second goal of the Jets. But the thing is, they turned around and they fixed it all around, right? I'm so happy with that. I love the way they're playing now. I think Foligno's gonna be great. But yo, let's move on to something else I wanted to talk about. Are the Leafs dirty? So apparently, a lot of the Jets players are unhappy. This is from Mark Masters. Wayne Simmons said that he heard that a lot of the Jets players are unhappy that the Leafs had some quote unquote dirty hits last night. And what did he say? He said every time we've played them, they've tried to run at us, they've tried to do dirty shit, and we came back and we're physical, and now we're a dirty team. Like they're literally just defending themselves, and now teams are calling them dirty, bro. Like that's so bullshit. Like then again, I don't know if you watched the highlights, but did you see what happened with Simmons and Dubois?
I didn't see the highlights. I
So
heard
you know
about
how
the fight.
typically, like, pretty much Dubois tried to do that typical fucking Matthew Tkachuk shit where the whistle's blowing, he tries to like start slashing the goalie, like going at the goalie, right? Bro, Simmons
Yeah.
literally went behind him, started fucking cross-checking the shit out of him. He like took
Oh,
him
I
to the
fucking
boards and
love
he's
that.
like ready to like beat the shit out of him. He started like swearing at him and stuff. And Dubois was like pissed, bro. He was so mad at that shit. And then there was this
Bro,
other play where sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so I think it was during our losing streak. There was a couple of hits, right? Big hits on Leaf defenders, and the rest of the team wouldn't even like look that way, right? I think it was one of the hits on Hall. I think at the end of the period, Tavares looks his way and he keeps on going. He just skates away, right? While
Yeah,
Hall's on the
you can't
ground.
do that. You're not a team if you
Yeah.
don't stick up for each other.
So I want to see more of what Simmons did, like what you just said about Simmons cross checking the guy after the whistle.
Dude,
Like
he
I want
got
to
a
see
penalty
that.
for it too. Like, are you? I'm not
The
mad. I'll take that penalty
the
every single day of the week if it means Dubois doesn't come near our goalie.
the
Oh
funny
yeah,
the funny
for
part
sure.
was the funny part of the scrum was he turned around away on his knees. And
What?
yeah, he turned around
Yo,
away on his knees.
I guarantee you, like Dubois shit his pants, bro. If Simmons in your face swearing at you, like I would shit my pants, bro. That guy's scary as fuck.
Yeah, he took his helmet off and everything, and he almost started wailing on him, but he's like, "Yo, I can't wail on him without the helmet on, right?" That's the thing, right? So he's like, "Yo, but that's a good thing. Like, yo, you've never seen this before from the Leafs, like back in the prior years. Like, I'm going back to prior years again, because what are you gonna compare them, like recent like years? Like, no, like you see these guys, like they're not backing down from anything like anymore. Like they're not taking shit anymore. They're finishing checks now. Like you see Simmons, Thorne laying the body. Like that's what you gotta do. Even you see Matthews laying the body now. I know Marner doesn't because Marner's not that kind of player. But like I see Angbot do a hit last night. I was like, what? Angbot doing a hit? He really threw the hit from behind the net. I was like, what? And then you see guys like McCabe laying hits, finishing their checks. And just for confidence
Bro,
gets going,
Joe
right?
Thornton has been throwing the body like crazy, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
bro. I
even
was just
Adam
about to
Brooks,
say
like
that.
even Adam Brooks hit the body too. Like, yo, keep on going, keep this momentum going into playoffs. Like, you need to finish your check, get in the forecheck. Just who gives a fuck? Just got Sabra in their ass. Like, don't even go for the puck. To go for the body. Like, it doesn't even matter
No,
anymore.
you
Like,
need that,
yeah,
bro.
walk
Look, by
murder.
creating
You've seen Boston. Like, murder is legal in the playoffs. You can just go after someone and
Bro,
refs don't give a
that's
shit. That's the
exactly what I was
thing,
gonna
right?
say. In playoffs, nobody gives a shit if you start throwing the body the way a lot of these teams do, and the Leafs never did that shit, bro. Like these Leafs, and I feel like Nick Foligno's make a huge difference because, like, tell me the Jets didn't play so physical and nasty against the Leafs, and weren't you guys so cheesed last year? Where you're like, yo, the Jets are getting away with so much shit, all this and that.
Oh yeah, bro. Like this is the first time I'm hearing that the Leafs are dirty. Like
Yo, low key, there was
which
like
idiot said that?
there's two
Like,
dirty hits they had last night. Like I don't
oh
think the
shit.
Galchenyuk one was dirty because he went for his shoulder and he's a little bit taller than the guy he hit. I forgot who it was. I think it was Lowry. He's a little bit taller than Lowry and he went for his shoulder and his like I guess his shoulder sort of slid up and hit his head. I wouldn't say that's super dirty,
Oh,
but
but
yo,
Lowry's a
Joe
big guy,
Thornton.
bro.
Well, Joe Thornton had, like got fined last night. I don't know if you saw. He got a $3,000 fine
Oh shit.
because I think Pearl
I
was going
didn't
for
see
the
that.
puck and Thornton went straight for his head, bro.
Oh no.
It interfered. It wasn't even. The guy wasn't
Okay,
even near the puck and hit him.
here's
It's
my
so
thing.
funny.
Do you guys like that from the Leafs? Okay, like
Of
obviously you don't want to
course,
see a guy get injured on the other team, right? Like you don't want the Leafs going out injuring guys. But do you guys like those like borderline dirty hits?
of course. Like you need that. Like look at Boston, bro. Marchand is freaking his dirty hits, and like look at him. Like he gets away with them. Like no one can do anything because Richie's there. Chara was there for him. Like they stick up for each other. Like,
I think
Richie
yeah.
always there for
Like
him. Right? Like go ahead, thinking.
I think the perfect example was Komarov, right? When he used to play for the Leafs. I don't know if you guys remember the it was a hit against Gaudreau. It was a Calgary power play. And you know how like on power plays you're normally chill, right? You just pass, right? Like casually pass. You're not expecting a big hit from someone. Oh man, Komarov just out of nowhere just nailed Gaudreau, right? It was a simple pass that Gaudreau was trying to make. And Calgary got so pissed. They're like, oh, what the hell? Like, why are you hitting our guy, like, on a power play? But, like, that's the type of shit that you need to have, right? Like, don't be casual. Don't be casual in your physicalness, right?
Bro,
Like,
exactly. Cause yo, like that physical play, that makes space for yourself, right? Like if like I keep going back to Nick Foligno because I absolutely love that like pick or like that trade. But like okay, if you're going playing against Nick Foligno or even Wayne Simmons, right? Do you want to go near that guy? Like you're defending him. Do you want to get up in his grill? Probably not, right? And that creates space for Nick Foligno and Wayne Simmons. And if Nick Foligno is on the line with Matthews and Marner, players are gonna think twice about going near Matthews or Marner because they know Nick Foligno's right there and he's gonna fucking destroy them, right? So this physical play is great because it makes more room for our superstars to do what they do best. It complements them perfectly, man. And bro, I'm so hyped for the playoffs because I know these guys are gonna play that dirty, gritty playoff hockey this year compared to last year's, and it's gonna be so much fun to watch. And okay, I want to lead that into my next point. Who do you guys want to play in the first round? Like, we're looking at pretty much the playoffs are a lock right now. Most likely we're playing Montreal, but let's say the off chance we end up playing the Jets or the Oilers in the first round. Out of those, how about we rank them and you guys give your reasons why? Who would you rather play, the Oilers, the Jets, or the Habs? 1, 2, 3, and why? We'll go one by one. So, how about Tanigan? You can go first.
All right. So obviously Montreal would be first, and then I'd go with the Oilers that I would want to face, because in the playoffs, I hate when we face teams that have strong goaltending. So if Carey Price becomes his normal Vesna self against us in the playoffs, we're done for, right? As opposed to Oilers, like I think we can expose them defensively and in the net, right? I know they have McDavid and Draisaitl, but like I feel like we could limit that as opposed to Carey Price limiting us, right? And yeah,
So you would. What about the Jets though? Would you rather you take the Oilers first?
yeah, I'd rather face Habs and Oilers instead of the Jets.
Okay, makes sense. Scarlett, what do you think?
Yeah, same thing with Taniga. I think the Habs, Oilers, and Jets, because Jets have the top six and have the goaltending in the back end. Oilers, you never know about Mike Smith, and then McDavid and Draisaitl, you never know about them. Habs, to be honest, I'm kind of scared to face them because of what they offer and what they can bring. You never know when Price can show up, right? Yeah, but playoffs are never easy, and you have to get through things. But that's my rankings.
Oh, bro,
All
let
right.
me interject real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I realized I said Carey Price a bunch of times. I meant Hellebuck.
Yeah. I figured. Don't worry. Carey Price is also scary as well. All right, Harmon. Joined a little late on the podcast. We talked a bunch about the last couple of games. We finished our debate, but we came to a mutual understanding. But what do you think about who you want to play in the playoffs? Like, rank the three opponents that we could potentially play, like Montreal, the Jets, and the Oilers. Like, what's your order for who you want to play?
I think like based on the last couple of games the Leafs had, it's it's kind of tough because like all these teams are like, especially Montreal's like, like they're having a great couple of games and then they're climbing up the standings as well, and then Winnipeg is just like, like when Hellebuck is having a really good game, he just like shuts down the net and like he doesn't let anybody score. And with Edmonton, it's just like their goalies just somehow like end up doing good, and then if you unleash and if you let McDavid and Draisaitl, just like score on you, and they just end up like having a really great couple of games against the Leafs, then we're doomed. But like I feel like overall, I feel like I'd want like a challenge for the Leafs because I know like the first round is always a difficult one, especially because of a couple of playoffs, like previous playoffs as well. But yeah, I feel like they should. I want them to face either the Jets or Montreal. So I'm gonna say the Jets first, and then I'll say Montreal because I know they both have good goaltenders. So like I want them to have that challenge, like first, so then they're prepared going to the next round and they know like what they have to face. So I'm gonna go with Jets, Montreal, and Edmonton as my order.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Because no one else said the Jets. But honestly, that makes sense. Like that's one thing that you said that you brought up is I feel like all three other teams in the like that we're gonna face in the playoffs, they all have great goaltending, man. Mike Smith has been a lot better than a lot of people thought. Connor Hellebuck's Connor Hellebuck, and you can never count Carey Price out, right? But for me personally, I would go number one. I want to play the Habs, man. Like I want that iconic series. Um, like I think a Leafs and Habs series would be probably the most entertaining series out of all those matchups. I think the Leafs will definitely play up. They want to beat the Habs. They don't like the Habs. Um, there's a lot of bad like that's the thing, right? Like, you look at the Oilers and the Jets. The Leafs don't like them either. Like especially you look at that last Jets game, but they've only besides this year they only play them once or twice a year. These Leafs players have been going against this Habs team for the last like 5 years they've been in the league, right? So I think that's gonna be a crazy series. It's gonna be a really tight series. That series will bring out the physicality, right? Like let's say you play the Oilers in the first round, you don't need to play that super heavy style brand of hockey against the Oilers, right? You just gotta shut down McDavid and Draisaitl, and you'll probably win that series. But like, let's say we play the Oilers, we win the first round. You're gonna rely on what you did against the Oilers to carry you through the playoffs. That's gonna set the tone for your playoff run, right? Versus you play the Habs in the first round and you grit it out. You get that grindy, gritty playoff series win against the Habs, and you carry that forward. You're set up for success long term. Number two, though, I would want to play the Jets. Mostly just because I don't want to play McDavid and Draisaitl. Like we whooped the Oilers' ass this season, but man, like McDavid is such a phenomenal player. Even though he hasn't shown up in the playoffs in the past, he's scary, man. I don't want to see McDavid for like 4 to 7 games straight. But man, this is what I mean. There's so many good teams in the North Division. I don't get why other like places are saying yo Leafs have such an easy lineup. They have such an easy path to the third round. I feel like the Leafs really don't. Like the teams in the North are really good this year, man.
But as you said, like the rivalry between like Toronto and Montreal, like they have a history, right? And there's some bad blood, and they don't like those are the two like teams like that's like the like probably the biggest rivalry in hockey in hockey, right? NHL. So like like that's gonna be like hype, like if that happens, like that'd be crazy.
Dude, it would kind of feel like that a Boston series again. It's gonna be so gritty, but this time we're gonna have like it's gonna be a lot different because you're gonna have guys like Wayne Simmons, like Brody, Muzzin, like Nick Foligno, even to like really help against that grittiness.
Okay, guys. You know how people say North Division is the weakest. Let's take a look at the West and the Central. Cause the West is beating up on teams like Anaheim, who's one of the worst teams in the league this year. Anaheim, who else is there? San Jose, LA. Like those are three teams right there, and then the Central Division has Columbus, Nashville, Chicago, and all these teams, and the East has has Buffalo, New Jersey, and struggling Philadelphia. Like the North Division doesn't have much weak teams. Ottawa might be a weak team, but they try their hardest every night. You don't see Buffalo trying their hardest every night. Who do the 17 straight? Sorry for bringing up Buffalo, but like it's a comparison here. You don't do 17 straight without trying your hardest, and like yeah, Calgary, Vancouver, a decent team who made a second round last year. The North Division is not easy. People think it's easy just because like they're not happy to see like Leafs up there in the standings. Like it is what it is. I'm gonna put something into perspective here. So I know I'm going back into the past and people don't like this, but I'm putting things into perspective. So 2016 against the Capitals, Leafs were underdogs. 2017 against the Capitals, they were underdogs. 2018 against the Boston Bruins, they were underdogs. 2019 they were underdogs, but 2020 was the year that screwed us all up because they were supposed to win that series and they didn't. But Dubas learned his lesson and he got the grit that needs to go forward with the skill. So hopefully that translates into playoff success.
Oh, yo, one more. Tanika, you want to go ahead quickly? If you were about to say
Yeah,
something.
I just want to touch upon. So, like, I think one of the reasons they might say that the North Division's easy is because of the defensive side of things, right? Vancouver, Ottawa, even Winnipeg and Edmonton, and even Toronto, right? Have been known for like their defensive like inconsistencies. So I think that might be an issue. Like that might be the reason why they're saying it. But they're completely ignoring the fact that like the Northern Division's offense is off the charts, right? Like you have McDavid, Draisaitl, Winnipeg with like arguably the best top six in the league, right? You have all these like
But the Leafs have
offensive
the best top
juggernauts.
6 in the league.
Yeah,
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
obviously.
whoa, 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 whoa. Leafs have the best top
trying,
six, bro.
trying, trying to get some Winnipeg fans to follow our podcast, right? Let me do my job. But what do you call it? I think that's the reason why they should talk the North Division.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing, exactly what you said, right? Like, there's so many offensive players that the Leafs are forced to play better defensively this year, like, which it's never a bad thing, right? Like, practice playing against like Connor McDavid like what was it, like 8 or 9 times, playing against that Winnipeg top 6 8 or 9 times. Like, it's good for your defenseman, and I feel like hopefully we're set up.
So one thing
Okay,
that worries me is we usually face teams like Boston and Columbus that are good at shutting you down, right? What happens when we make it past the first round, second round, and we end up facing a team like Boston or Tampa that can shut us down,
buddy,
right?
let's
We're
worry
not going
about
to be
that
ready
when
for
we
that.
get there. Let's worry about that when we make it past the first round.
That is true.
Yeah, bro, take it one series at a time, bro. First, get past the first round.
Okay, we got just, I think there's 2 more things I want to talk about quickly. I want to talk about, okay, who do you guys think sits out of the Leafs lineup, right? So right now, you guys know our lines. We got Foligno on the top line. We got, sorry, who was on the second line? Was, but okay, I forgot the lineup from last night. But pretty much when Hyman comes back, somebody's gonna have to sit, right? And potentially, if Riley Nash does end up playing, that's another player that has to sit. Mikheyev hasn't played yet either. So there's a lot of players that can come in. So I think the top 6 is pretty much set. It's going to be like Matthews, Marner with either Foligno or Hyman or Gouch. Like Foligno, Hyman, Gouch are going to be your like top 3 left wingers. Almost certainly. Your Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander are set. After that, I don't know, man. Who do you guys think has to sit? Because, okay, how about this? Outside of the big 4, outside of Foligno, Hyman, and Mikheyev, right? Or Foligno, Hyman, Galchenyuk. Who's the bottom 5 players you want playing game 1 of the playoffs, assuming everybody is healthy?
Should I go first then?
Yeah, go for it. Just name the 5 players you want playing outside of those guys.
Kerfoot, Spezza, Roddy, Nash. You said Nick Foligno. You said the left winger you've covered, right?
Yeah, so like you got your big 4 covered, and then you have
Yeah.
Hyman, Foligno, and Galchenyuk. Outside of those guys, you have 2 spots on the third line and 3 spots on the fourth line.
I got Simmons, Kerfoot, Thornton, Spezza, the old vets because we need them on the bench, and then who do I have? And then Mikheyev. That's all I got. That's the lineup.
So yeah, okay, so you're not gonna have Riley, Nash, and Engvall then, right? Man, it's so tough.
Shit, Roddy Nash.
That's
Holy shit!
see, this is my whole dilemma. It's like, who do we play in that first round? Because like 4-5 spots, you have 7 to 8 guys battle, like even 9 guys battle. You got 5 spots. You got Spezza, Thornton, Simmons, Kerfoot, Riley Nash, Mikheyev, Engvall, Brooks, and Robertson. You got 9 guys fighting for those 5 spots. Like, how do you even pick 5, man?
Guys, I have Engvall starting no matter what. He doesn't give it.
I like Engvall. Like, I think he's good, but I agree. I think he has to sit like game 1 for those guys.
To be honest, he's the most frustrating player I can ever watch. He has so much skill, so much like he has the tools to get there, but he doesn't try. He doesn't need the body. He doesn't.
You know what he is? He's that typical like he has the tools, but he doesn't have the toolbox to use them.
Yeah. You completely right. But he like uses stick so like weird. He has like a snow shovel with stick. He just shovels the puck like that's what he's doing half the time. And I feel like he has so much potential, but he's not gonna live up to it. Like we all know that. Like it's over now. Like he's 25, I think 24, 25 around there, 23, but his skating is absolutely magnificent. He reminds me of like Kasperi Kapanen, who can't like handle the puck, but he has all the skill. He has all the size and skill. Like Let's leave it at that because he's just frustrating player to watch.
Makes sense. Harmon, who's your 5 picks for the bottom 6 that you want in?
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna keep Mikheyev and Simmons on the third line, and then Thornton and Spezza. Is that what it is? Or you,
You need one more guy in the fourth line. So you need
yeah, and then Riley Nash.
makes sense, man. Like it's so tough though, because at that point then you got to sit someone like Kerfoot or Engvall. Danigan, what do you think?
I think I'm gonna be benching Engvall and Simmons. Simmons will probably come in and out of the lineup. My third line would be Mikheyev, Nash, and Hyman, and then fourth line would be Thornton, Kerfoot, Spezza. Like we've seen that Thornton, Kerfoot, Spezza line before, and it looks pretty good. Right, like Kerfoot speed with the slower guys, and I think Mikheyev, Nash, and Hyman can make a nasty shutdown line.
Oh, Tanigan, you're the freaking best. I love that line. Holy shit, that's a sick line. And he put got up with Tavares and he didn't really have chemistry. He put Flino with Matthews and Marner. Like, come on, like how like look, I've never seen like. Sorry, I'm interrupting you thinking, but I've never seen a team just leaves this deep in my life, and I've been watching them for a long time. So, yeah.
Yo, the thing is, it's just so tough with this lineup because I feel like, how do you? For me, like Mikheyev is a lock, right? For sure, and Spezza is a lock. That leaves 3 spots, right? At that point, you have 3 spots to give to Simmons, Thornton, Kerfoot, like Engvall. Like, there's so many other guys, and I feel like you're gonna have to sit, like, especially if you want Riley Nash. And I think Riley Nash is so much better than Simmons and Thornton for this team. And like, how do you like justify putting in Riley Nash and sitting a guy like Joe Thornton or Wayne Simmons, right? It's just so tough, man. And I feel like that's the trouble. Um, I think game one, Riley Nash won't play even if he's ready, and you have to let Joe Thornton and Wayne Simmons both play in this lineup because they're the vets you brought in for leadership. And what does it say to your young core that these veterans don't even get a shot to play it, right? So I think Simmons and Thornton, like Spezza's a lock. Spezza's been great, but I think Simmons and Thornton will get game one and maybe even game two. And if they do not keep up with the speed, I think at that point, then you take them out and you throw in a guy like Riley Nash, or you let Engvall play, or even let like Robertson have a shot. But I don't know, man. It's so tough, and I feel like this is a great problem, man. I love this. I love having the problem of too many players to play.
Who's your
Have they
defensive
mentioned
pairing? 'Cause
anything about
we can,
Nash?
no, he's not coming
No.
back.
Like, has
He has a.
he for
I think he has
Dubas?
sprain. Yeah, I think he has sprained ankle. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. He'll probably be back in the playoffs. Or hope so, hopefully. Yeah, but who's your defensive pairings? I know we already got the top 4 set up, but the bottom 2 pairings it's gonna be tough because Ben Hart might come in and be good. But yo, like, can we talk about Rasmus Sandin for a second? Like he's missed practically the whole season. Like he with a broken foot, and then he ended up like he got one game with the Maple Leafs, and then he got one game with the Marty. He broke his foot, and now he's back up. Like you remember Adam Brooks? Like he was opening the shot. Like what a pass! Like that vision he had. What a pass! Like he was getting pressure by 2 guys, and he just found Brooks the point. Like it was nothing. Like the way he skates is so smooth. Like hopefully he can turn into a top 4 defenseman we need in the future with maybe Riley's departure in next season. But I hate that Riley getting the departure, but kind
Well,
of
that Riley talk is a whole ass debate.
yeah
And
yeah
the more games we
yeah.
play, the more I'm thinking we don't keep Riley. But that's for a whole different
That's
podcast.
another yeah.
But defensive
what
pairing,
to,
I think that top 4 is set in stone. You can't change it. Like it's worked all season. But if Bogosian's back, Bogosian should play. Like I think he deserves
Yeah.
to play to start. But yo,
sure.
you're right, man. Sandine, holy shit, bro. This guy is so silky smooth on the ice. His skating and his passing is on a whole different level. Like he's just so clean. He makes clean exits. He makes clean passes. His footwork is amazing. I think you're right, bro. He could be a top 4 defenseman next year. He should be given the shot. In my opinion, I think he's already better than Dermott. I don't know what you guys think.
You know, okay. I know you guys want playoff hockey, but I think this is the time for experiment. I think you put Littlegun beside Sandine and see how they do together. Because that's a potential pairing in the future, and I'm dying to see that in the NHL because they play
I-
together in the AHL.
That's a good point, bro. They would be great together, but I don't think I think these 9 games are to prepare for hockey, right? Like we're talking about building on momentum. We experimented the 2 games against Vancouver, and look what happened there, bro. The whole Leafs Nation had a shutdown when the defensive pairings did not help the goaltending. But no, you're right, man. Sending's great. Anyways, guys, we're gonna keep this podcast pretty short. I think next time we might have a special guest surprise. We'll keep that a surprise for then. Hopefully, next time we talk, we don't have to have a debate about how the team plays. Hopefully, we're talking about how great the team's been playing. But we'll see when the time comes. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you guys like and share this podcast wherever you listen it. And see you guys next time.